January 1950, and I joined the Navy for six years,
And what were you in the Navy?
I was a stoker.
Right.
Stoker, ended up stoker mechanic, leading stoker mechanic, leading engineering mechanic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
What was your first ship then in the Navy?
HMAS Australia.
All right.
Yeah, a cruiser.
Yeah.
The old 3-funnel bastard they used to call her, you know.
Yeah.
And that was the first. She was it was the sort of second part of our training. I did 6 months on there, and she had a crew of about 900.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you know, which was about average for a ship that size, you know. Yeah.
How was she, what was the coal-fired, oil-fired?
She was oil-fired. She had steam turbines, and she had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 3-drum boilers.
Right.
Yarrow boilers, they are, water tube. And I kept engine room and boiler room watches on there, and you know, did all the usual things. It was, as I say, the second part of our training, and after 6 months I think I went to the Platypus, a shore thing, in Sydney anyway. They stuck blokes there in the interim while I wait for them to pick up another ship.
Yeah. And
then I joined the Anzac when she was commissioned in, I think, March or April '51.
Right.
Yeah. And
that was a destroyer, wasn't it?
Big one?
That was a destroyer?
Destroyer, yeah. About 2,500 tonne, I think about 250 men or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was on her, I think, all up for about 3 years.
Oh, right,
yeah. And I went to Korea in 1951, shortly after.
That's what I was going to ask you, that time span, 51 to 54,
Yeah, so we were up in Korea there.
Yeah, right.
And, which was interesting, and it was good. In retrospect, it was good. You know, I've got a gold card now, haven't I?
Yeah. What made you want to go to sea, do you remember?
Well, I lived in a little shit inland town called Oakey on the Darling Downs, and I thought, you know, in those days, not much money, couldn't travel anywhere. I wanted to go somewhere, you know, get out of the place. So I thought, Army, no, Air Force, they don't go anywhere there. Navy, yeah. So there.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you finished in the Navy, when you came ashore, what happened then?
Yeah, I got out in March '56, and the next month I went to the Williamstown Naval Dockyard, which was Naval Dockyard in those days. It's privatised now, and worked on construction of the Vendetta.
All right.
Sister ship to the ill-fated Voyager. Yeah. So I was there for a couple of years, and then shifted to left that job, went up to Queensland, back to Oakey.
Oh yeah.
God knows why, but anyway, I did. With the missus and the first wife and one little baby, and up there for I forget the timeline. Anyway, about 5 years.
Yeah.
And produced another couple of kids, and came back to Melbourne. Had a short-term job ashore in. It's one of McPherson's in Melbourne. Applied for a lighthouse job, I think, a lighthouse job in, 1965.
Right.
65. And went in there in January, as I remember.
What light
into the lighthouse. Cliffy Island. Cliffy Island.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's east of Prom.
Yeah, right.
Near the Hogan's group anyway. Just a lump of rock and with 3 houses on top.
Yeah.
And 3 families, you know.
Yeah.
And that was that was the light that every new light keeper went to.
Oh, right.
Very basic. It was the light was illuminated by kerosene, like a big Aladdin lamp.
Yeah.
With a big cylinder of kerosene, you know, and a car pumped up an air vessel, and a mantle about that big.
So what was the score there on the light? How long did you work there? What was the setup?
What on that particular light? I was there about 18 months. Yeah, and then
straight. 18 months straight.
Yeah, 18 months straight. Went on leave and come back, and I got a transfer to Gabo.
All right.
Gabo, and I was there for all up I was in the lights 5 years. I forget the actual periods of time, but anyway, on Gabo, and which was good. And then I got a there was a head lightkeeper's job come up on Deal Island.
Yeah.
That's down the Kent route, down north of Tassie. So I took that job and we went down there.
All right.
Which was paradise, mate, I can tell you. It was lovely. The kids loved it, They were being taught by correspondence by the missus.
Mm.
And, and there were only two of us there with no watch keeping or anything.
Yeah.
We used to put in weather reports, I think. We had a radio sked, the lights, where we used to send weather reports by radio to Wilson's Promontory, and they went to the Met Bureau, all the lights. We get on a 4-hourly radio sked.
Yeah, right.
And, Deal Island, then Deal Island, yeah. So then the kids were getting a bit older, I thought I'd better get them to school.
Yeah.
And the job came up at Cape Otway, and I asked for transfer there.
You didn't find them, sort of lonely, isolated? Or?
Shit, no.
You're happy there?
On Deal?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because it wasn't that isolated. I mean, fishermen were in all the time, there were fishing boats coming in. There were, pleasure boats coming occasionally, and these people used to come ashore, come up to the lights, invite them in for a cup of tea or something like that, and no, it wasn't lonely. And there was two beautiful beaches there.
Yeah.
There were bloody flounder down there that you'd go down at night with a light, on a float, with battery on a float, and you'd get all the flounder you want. The crayfish, we skin dive for, crayfish, abalone, get a sugar bag full.
Yeah.
Had sugar bags, I think, in those days. Yeah. And so anyway, ended up at Cape Otway, and my first marriage broke up then. Yeah. And I stayed on there for a while on my own with the eldest daughter because she was going to the high school at Apollo Bay. And what then? Oh yeah, so I gave me notice there, and they said, we'd like to keep you. And I said, well, I need a job ashore, so I went down to Point Wilson.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what it is now, but it used to be an explosive storage depot. The old Blythe Star and the Wongala used to come in there, I remember. Yeah. Yeah, and Blythe Star's no longer. I don't think the Wongala is either.
The Wongala was sitting on a reef up in Torres Strait.
Oh, right.
Yeah, when we used to go past it on the Osco Star, I got a video of it for one of the blokes who used to go on it, Roy Hopkins. Yeah. So there she is, sitting high and dry on the reef.
That's interesting, yeah. So they used to come in there. I was there for, I don't know, a couple of years or something. No, I wasn't there very long at all, about maybe 8 or 9 months. And when then the swinging system came in on the coast, or the pain conditions where, and the Cape Pillar later on switched over to that, that style of thing too. So I heard about this, so I put in for a job there and got it. And so John, you were on the Cape.
Well, it was a very complicated system. If I remember, it was like 6 and 3, and then
6 and 3, and you accumulated a little bit.
6 and 6. But I could never work out the system, but it worked. Yeah,
it worked, and it the pay was good. I mean, I think it was comparable to the coast. That they got the conditions for us, and we rode along on the backs of the SUI.
So you got away then on the lighthouse ship, the Cape Pillar. When do you reckon that would have been?
Oh, let's see. Oh, jeez.
So that's
65 to 70. 70 probably. 71 to 76 or 70 to 75. Something,
that's fine.
Like that. Anyway, I did 5 years on there.
5 years.
5 years, and I was a greaser on there. And it was a good job.
They used to go to some weird places, didn't they?
Weird and wonderful places, and you seamen used to do all sorts of interesting jobs as a seaman. Of course, I was down in the engine room watchkeeping, and but to get ashore in some of those places was really good. Do you remember the old Saumarez light? The awful, what they used to call it, the awful tower or something. Old Harriet, not Harriet. What was his name? The skipper. It was. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
It'll come to me in a minute.
Yeah, that's out where that Liberty ship's aground, wasn't it? Somewhere
yeah,
else.
near there, yeah. I was just telling
Rufus.
Wayne about it. You remember the old Liberty ship
Yeah,
high up on the roof?
yeah,
It almost looked like it was ready to sail away when we used to go there. Yeah.
So, they were. That was a different job. That was different.
Yeah, that was. It was a pretty good job. I mean, I had a lot of scope there as a greaser. I mean, none of the engineers could weld. I mean, I worked as a welder up in Queensland, before I come back down south. So any welding that I ended up doing it there, and they were quite happy. And why not? Show these bastards up that they have. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
What, you're sorry about showing them up?
No, sorry about the swearing at the camera.
I think the Seaman does that, mate.
So, after that, you moved on again. What was your next step?
Hang on, what were we up to the...
Up to the Cape Pillar.
Seniors moment. Cape Pillar. Left the Cape Pillar and because, the missus, they like your home, don't they?
Yeah.
So I thought I'd go ashore for a while, and I did too, in a semi sort of way. Joined the Maltese Navy.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Well, Melbourne Harbour Trust.
Yeah,
that's what we used to call it,
Yeah.
And and I was there for a couple of years on the bucket dredges and the mud hoppers.
Yeah.
And that was good. That was a great time. Those Maltesers, I tell you, they're great blokes.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, happy crew.
Yeah.
Except I used to go home stinking of garlic. I'd take I'd take sandwiches to work, and they'd be cooking up a storm in the galleys there, and I'd stink the house out when I got home. The food was great. Better than sandwiches. I was there. Probably a couple of years. Oh, I don't know whether I'm missing anything out here, but I'm trying to think as best as I can.
Sure, don't worry about it. Don't worry.
So I left there, and we decided to have a sea change, and we shifted up to Port Macquarie. We'd been up there on a holiday, and my brother lived up there with his wife, and there was a house we had our eye on right on the beach, which was going very cheap. So we sailed up, and we went up there and bought that. In the meantime, I wanted to get back to sea, and Alan, my son-in-law's father, he sort of put a word in for me at the Newcastle branch, and I went up there, and eventually, after a pretty short time, I was on B roster with the Harbour Trust.
Yeah.
And so I got a job with run out of Newcastle on one of the iron boats.
Oh, right. Yeah.
For which I stayed 5 years.
Yeah. Do you remember when that was? When you got away? Roughly.
Hang on.
It's not important the exact date. Just an idea.
No. Well, let's see. 65 to 70, 70 to 70. It must have been about 78.
That's fine. Yeah. No, it's only just to get an idea of when.
I think I was I was about 19 years, I think, on the coast, so it would have been about 78.
Yeah, right.
So I retired in 97, so it's 18 or 19 years,
Right.
So the first one was the Iron Sturt. I stayed there for 5 years. Good mob.
Yeah.
Good mob, Everyone thought I was crazy for staying on an iron boat, but anyway, Newcastle those days, if you tree your hand, you got another one.
Yeah. Another iron boat,
Unless you're extremely lucky.
Yeah.
And then we stayed up there for several years, and we missed Melbourne. We come back to Melbourne, but I still stayed on the iron boat and shipped out of.
Strangely enough, Kevin, my first 2 jobs out of Newcastle were both ANL ships, and then I joined the iron boats. Then I went through about 5 of them, 6 of them.
I didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
It was good. There's a good mob on there.
That's But if you're an out-of-towner, it was a different story.
Possibly so. Yeah. And anyway, as I say, I was still shipped out. I was still on the Iron Sturt when I was in Melbourne, and eventually I left.
What run was she on then when you joined it?
The Iron Sturt. Oh, she used to run down to Bell Bay, up to Groot Island, pick up stuff off Bundaberg. There, all sorts of bulk cargoes.
Did she have the acid tanker when you were there? Or was that later?
No acid tanker. No.
Yeah, because
they did change her over a lot.
Yeah, they whacked another hatch in her and put an acid tank in her.
Yeah. I think they reduced the crew too, didn't they?
That was what I was going to ask. Do you remember what the size of the crew was?
No, I don't, John. But I did hear later that they.
She would have been.
What about down below? What would you have had on her?
I think there were 3 greasers.
3 greasers.
3 greasers, which is about average.
She would have had a crew of about 30 in her, I think, when you
Possibly,
were there.
yeah, I'd say so.
That sounds about right. For
yeah,
that
pre-MIDC.
3 greasers.
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah. No, I don't know, 4 or 5 engineers, something like that. Yeah.
Too many of them.
It was good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
So you say you came back to Melbourne.
I come back to Melbourne, stayed on that, and then I thought, well, I'll have a bit of a change, and I threw my hand in. What year would have been when I left there?
Well, 78. You said you joined her.
78, 83, 83. I must have been on something before then, which I can't remember.
That's fine. Yeah.
But I think it was it 85 the Oval Tasman was picked up?
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Anyway, there's something between when I left the Iron Sturt and the Oval Tasman, I can't remember. But anyway, picked up the Oval Tasman.
That was experience on its own.
That was... were you on that?
Yeah.
You were too, weren't you? Yeah, you were. I tell you what, it was the best paid holiday I ever had.
It was good.
It was good. It was excellent. Yeah. And I had friends over there in Hamburg, so I was able to visit them, Germans. Who couldn't speak much English, but their daughter was she. Yeah. So I think we spent about 7 weeks over there all up. Didn't we? Ended up in
like
Kiel.
Kiel, yeah.
Kiel, yeah.
And that looked like a bombed out shipyard.
A U-boat base or something.
The U-boat base beside it.
Yeah. I pinched a sign out of one of the sheds there, and I still got it at home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What is it? Not Roken verboten. Roken verboten by the Polizei or something. Yeah. So I still got that.
You remember getting back to that gate?
Yeah,
late at night.
you remember you used to get over the fence and the guard
with the big dog.
He panicked, I mean, he didn't know the Australian way, did he?
No.
They're very, you got to stick by the rules with the Trouts. Yeah. I know I'm married to one, but she's very nice.
And then the Tasmanian government sent their police representatives to come and sort us out.
Oh, that's right.
And they were all veterans that were going to get us.
We lived on board without power for several days.
Yeah.
We went on board. They wanted to send us home, didn't they?
Yeah.
And we said, no, stuff you, we're staying, right? And eventually it was sorted out.
Yeah.
And we left, but it took about 7 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
And we were going to go to Italy originally and pick up a load of cars or something, but they changed the itinerary. Yeah. That's the rumour anyway. And anyway, I don't know how long I was on there. On a couple of other ships, A&L thing, the Australian Venture.
Oh yeah.
And I think then at that particular time I was on another BHP one, which I can't remember too for a period of time. Then the Lady Cynthia, picked up the Lady Cynthia. That was funny. I was talking to a little a greaser yesterday that was on the Oval Tasman with me later on, but he was on the roster at the same time that the Lady Cynthia job came up, and I was number 1, and I didn't know much about Melbourne. I mean, I was BHP, I didn't know what was going on in Melbourne. So I was number 1 on the roster, and this Lady Cynthia come up, and everyone was sweating. Nobody knew me because, I hadn't been to the office very much for jobs, and is this bastard going to take this job? Yeah, is he going to, because a plum job? And, I said, I think I said to I said to this bloke that I was talking to yesterday, what's the Lady Cynthia? Rig tender or something, they've got to be picked up. I said I might as well take it, and they all spewed. Anyway, I went over to sign, to Charles to sign on, and he said, "Boy, you picked the jackpot, haven't you?" So we, we flew up to Shanghai to pick up. It was a new construction in Shanghai, rig tender, Lady Cynthia. And so we flew to Hong Kong and usual office stuff up, Nobody there to arrange. We had their visas to go into, to fly to Shanghai, into China. Yeah. Nobody there, so I think there was about 5 of us. I mean, we had to sign a waiver, and I've still got the copy at home, to say that we'd go in at our own responsibility, whatever happened. Yeah. So we went there and landed Shanghai, and anyway they sorted it out, the Chinese, with an amount of money. And then of course we got there and there was nobody to meet us, nobody from the ship, no representative. Yeah. We were there stuck in Shanghai, nobody spoke English. Yeah. We managed to get onto a taxi driver that drove a taxi van, and we said, well, all we could do was drive around Shanghai and try to find the Lady Cynthia. There must be 100 ship construction yards in Shanghai, and we drove around all day. Yeah. Couldn't see anything that looked like we should have been going to. Yeah. And anyway, it come towards dark, and we said, oh, you better find us, what's the best hotel in Shanghai? Shanghai Sheraton, he said, he spoke a bit of English, I'll take us there. And I was telling Wayne, there's only one bloke had a credit card, we didn't have much money on us, so we all put our bill on his credit card. and booked in for the night, they were willing to do that. And next morning we had to get a phone call through to the Australian office, AOS, to tell them that here we are, in the hotel, nobody met us, we looked for the ship, couldn't find it, you better send somebody to rescue us, Yeah. So anyway, eventually the skipper he'd been there earlier. He came and we found the Lady Cynthia. Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Different.
Different. Good job. Good mob. I had a bit of problem when it went offshore and it came back, and I had so much leave built up that it only went off for a short period, and some of us went back. And I went back, but I went back on another swing to my old mob, much to my regret, and I had a bit of problem there, which I've discussed with Alan, but that shall remain, unsaid, because it was a murderous situation on my part, anyway. But it was good. I stayed there 7 years.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Eventually left. Yeah, great. I mean, you get on a rig tender and it's not a bad job, And I was working on deck, I IR by then, and working on, and that suited. I thought that was great, doing anchors and, pulling cables out. Yeah. I thought, you blokes, this is a bit of a macho job, better than wiping down shitty oil, Yeah. And, that was good. And anyway, I left there and went on the roster, and City of Bramble came up. City of Burney came up, and I think Alan said, don't take that fucking thing, that's just a dead-end job. I said, oh, I don't care. I said, I'll take anything, And so I went on there, and best time I had in my life, mate. Best time I had in my life.
So what year did you get into the retraining? You must have been.
I wish you wouldn't ask me these.
You must have been, what, the 90s, was it?
Hang on, wait a minute. I had my 60th birthday down there, so 92.
92, yeah. 92. Yeah, you went down after me,
Yeah. So, yeah.
I got an idea, I was down there in 92.
It could have been different.
Yeah, I think I was the first group in 92, yeah.
The only one
Actually, I think before we left, you came.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure you did.
Yeah, made that. Was Bob Parsons down there? He was in the bloke that's in the...
in the neck.
The slammer, He was there. You could have been. Yeah.
So what was that? That was your last job, was it? The Brambles one?
No. Oh, no, that wasn't my last job.
I thought you would have stayed there.
It was getting near retirement, you see.
Yeah.
And I wished that Christ I'd have kept my mouth shut. I could have just kept on going, because it was the older blokes.
Yeah.
65. It wasn't sort of the done thing, I don't think, but I don't think anyone would have cared too much.
Silver Fox is 78 and he's still going.
Yeah, I mean, I felt fit, and I probably would have still been on the City of Burnie until, but I thought I'll have a change, before I retire. So I went on the roster and I picked up some survey thing. I don't know, what was that thing? I flew over to the west anyway to pick it up, and I only spent a swing on there. I think it was just a relieving job.
All right.
It was some highfalutin thing that was working. I don't know.
One the fly-by night.
Geo something.
Seismic survey.
Yeah.
So used to. There's things go bang, bang, bang. Yeah. Anyway, I was on there for a swing, relieve, and then I went on the roster and I picked up the Flinders Tide, which was my last ship. Yeah. Which was good. Good mob on there. Good mob, and good engineers, and still see one of the blokes in Tassie that was on there. But oh Christ!
Don't worry.
Yeah.
So when did you actually retire, Kev?
I turned 65 in March 97. 1997, and I think April or May or something like that.
It was 10 years ago yesterday.
You're right. Yeah, so that's when I retired. Yeah.
So
sadly, I was at a bit of you're a loose end for a couple of years, and then you get used to it. Yeah.
So looking back on your time, I mean, you already mentioned the Shanghai and the Able Tasman. Are there any other things that stick in your memory? The Navy or the Cape Pillar or the coast.
Well, the Navy, I suppose. Going up to Korea, and I think fucking Yanks nearly sunk us once. I tell you what, you don't need enemies, mate. You don't need enemies.
Well, we did present him with the Melbourne for a while.
Well,
it did get a little bit. Probably
bit of retaliation there. Anyway, So that there's been a few.
I've got a quick question, Kev. Too. If you had your time over again, you wouldn't retire.
I wouldn't.
You'd still be going.
I sort of accepted that. Okay, I'm 65. I should retire because that was a sort of done thing. But I knew that there were older blokes, but I thought I better do the right thing. But nobody would have cared.
No.
I was fit.
Yeah.
I was fit, and they were happy to have me. And when I threw my hand in, that was it. And so
Peanut Gallery's throwing a few questions in here, John. I think.
Yeah. So.
What are you? I mean, you must have noticed a lot of changes. One big one that some people talk about is the pickup, and the other one is the SRF.
Look, the SRF is look. I tell you what, if I hadn't been lucky enough to get away, on the coast and get into the SRF, I'd be a poor old pensioner.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I was only there 19 years, but gives me enough now for a sort of a, modest, dignified lifestyle. So I tell you what, the SRF and we've always had our officials in there keeping an eye on it too, haven't we? So we know that it's in good hands. It's still at the mercy a lot of it of the bloody market and all that, but they'll do the best they can.
That's right. It's not like you've got these fly-by-nighters who can rip it off. It's pretty well protected.
It must be one of the best super. I get an allocated pension. And I tell you what, when you blokes get old and retire, I'd suggest you do that. Don't take it out and spend it.
No, I'm on a pension myself, mate.
Oh, you get an allocated pension. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. Excellent.
Yeah, I ain't at retiring age yet, Kevin. I've still got about another 100 years to go.
Yeah, well, you're just a young fella.
That's right.
Comparatively speaking.
But also, over your time at sea, you must have come across your share of characters and.
Oh, characters, yeah. There's do you remember Lucky Luscombe?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, if I started at the Navy, there were characters there, one or two. I remember old Pedro Rutledge, the Anzac drunk. Well, he liked the beer, you know, nice bloke. And you remember Navy ships?
Yeah.
You know, you'd go down a steep angle. Well, on the Anzac, you went down a steep ladder into the stoker's deck, and there's a hammock bin there. Did you sleep in hammocks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hammock bin right at the bottom, and you know, short passageway through. Old Pedro could never make it down those stairs. He always fell halfway, but the hammock bin was there to save him. We'd find him in the bloody hammock bin in the morning, you know, with the stowed hammock.
Yeah.
It was still there. Yeah, he's a character. There's lots of characters, you know,
yeah. Few scoundrels, but a lot of good blokes.
Mainly good blokes. I have met one dead set arsehole who remained nameless in my whole seagoing career, and you know, one evil bloke either. Yeah, but no, everyone. You had your differences.
Yeah.
You know, but everyone was by and large. You had a few problems. No problems. No, nothing major. Yeah, and on the coast, plenty. Well, I mean, the one that comes to mind, of course, I was just mentioning before was, you know, I was in a stock work meeting a couple of days ago. First one that since I retired because I've been out of state. And the Gear, John Gear. Yeah. He was on the City of Burnie, you know. What can you say about the Gear, you know? Bloody pest. Listen to that. I hope you see this, Gear. But I'll tell you what, one of the finest, he was a hoot. He was a hoot. Yeah.
So
he's going to write my obituary, by the way.
Yeah.
Here is.
Yeah.
Oh.
So for the back of the journal, you know.
Yeah.
You, we're sort of coming towards the end of it, Kevin. Have you got anything you want to say? Anything you want to add? Any comments? You know, I mean,
probably good.
Generally, just or specifically, whatever. It's up to you. What?
Yeah, if I go, well, all I can say is, you know, go the MUA, and it's so bloody sad. As I say, I went to a meeting 2 days ago, and things that I've only been out 10 years, and everything's fallen in a heap of shit.
It's starting to change a lot.
In my opinion, you know, and you're on the back foot now with this government, and well, you can only hope what in the next election brings something. But I'm not sure things will change that much, you know. I hope they do.
Yeah.
And I hope you can get back to somewhere near square one on the coast, you know. Will you, do you think?
Don't know. Honestly, don't know.
No, of course, you're retired now too, but at least you're in touch. You go to all the meetings and everything, don't you? You know, there's nothing in Tassie where I live. Yeah.
But coming out of the Navy into the Merchant Navy, you would have noticed a big difference.
Oh, well, in accommodation, in you know, wages and all that. Well, John, you're an ex-Navy. I tell you, fucking bullshit. Discipline. Oh, God. And back in the 50s, all the officers were toffee-nosed. You know, they spoke with plums in their mouth. They all come from good families, you know. And there was, I never saw so much class distinction as I did in the Navy, you know, with the difference in conditions between, you know, right down. It was very well designed so you knew your place. I mean, even the shit houses, I mean, the officers had doors. I think in my day, the chief POs had 3/4 doors. I think the POs had half doors and the crew had no doors. You know, you sat in a row.
Keep them in their place.
You know, keep in your place. You know, they had their own officers' cooks. You know, they had their own cutlery and that. I remember, I was having a charge once in the Navy. I thought, fuck, drinking out of a big heavy mug with about that thick, I'll go and knock one of the officers' bloody cups off, you know. And some arsehole steward saw me with it, and he reported, I was up on the bridge on a charge with misappropriation of naval property. And I had to be represented by the engineer officer who was my defence, you know. And I think I got 28 days stoppage of leave or something. So there I was, you know. I thought it'd be nice to drink out of, you know. And a few others did it too, of course. But 2 or 3 of us were up on the chart. Yeah, so that was the Navy.
Defy the system, Kevin. Don't drink out of bone chart. That's an officer's privilege.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, you know. And I've never had much respect for the Royal Australian Navy. You know, I think it's changed now. Probably, I'd hope. You know, but it was so class-ridden in those days. You've got no idea. Yeah. Long RN lines. You know, Royal Navy lines. Yeah.
Was a bloke you started mentioning before, and we couldn't get his name. It's come to me. It was the skipper of that Cape Pillar, Stan Harriott.
Stan Harriott, that's him. Yeah.
He was still along those ex-Navy lines.
He was. Yeah, he was that. Yeah. Oh, Stan. I tell you what, he. I don't know whatever happened. He used to take a lot of film. Old Stan, you know, 16mm. Geez, I'd like to see some of that.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Is there any other questions?
No, that's pretty good. As I say, unless you've got anything that you wanted to add or any stories you want to tell, I mean...
I think the senior moment has come, mate.
Yeah.
There is... Well, I'll throw in another one here, which you wouldn't have found in the Navy, and that is meetings and that, and having delegates to look after you, and you know, like and coming out with stop work meetings and that there.
No, God Almighty, God. We didn't even have much on the Cape Pillar really that was significant, did we? Because we're in the Customs Officers Association, which were, you know, they pretty powerless. Yeah, of course I noticed the difference. Yeah, I thought, fuck me, dude, this is good, you know. You can get up there and, you know, you can bag the people you...
Bring it out of the stop work meeting where it belongs. That's
where
what you
mean. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. I remember actually when we were on the Cape Pillar, it was the debate raging about whether we should go with the SUA or
look, I was speaking to Wayne about that earlier, and I said we wanted to get into the SUA, but I think you said that it was because they didn't want to poach.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
But the whole point was the Customs Officers Association. They were absolutely useless.
Well, it was virtually non-existent.
Non-existent. We had a bloke on board once, I think, and I remember this. He had to fly to another state to see probably the Morton or one of the other ships. He'd never flown before in his life. First trip in the plane, he's excited. So you know, and I think the SUA should have taken us in then. You know, had some, because the Customs Officers Association weren't interested.
No.
You know? Did I get it on camera about the when we used to do the surveying up north?
No.
The only advantage I was saying to Wayne earlier, and you probably weren't there, we used to get duty-free beer when we were surveying up in the Timor Sea area. Yeah. So you had plenty of cheap piss. Yeah.
24-hour lookouts and just steaming backwards and forwards. Wow. You saw nothing for the whole watch.
It was deadly. And then we went into the Gulf there too, of Carpentaria. Yeah, it was pretty... Oh, the only thing, we got ashore on a couple of reefs up there, you know, what was the name of the one where the Indonesians usually land on, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Ashmore Reef.
Yeah, we surveyed around there. Yeah, Ashmore Reef, and Mellish, I think. Mellish Reef? Mellish Reef, yeah.
So, what was the seagoing effect on your family life and that? How did you find that?
Well, you cope, don't you?
Yeah.
And, you know, I laugh sometimes when I see these people on television complaining and blubbering about being away for their wives.
For 10 minutes,
For, you know, for 10 minutes or a week or so, whatever you like, you know. I mean, in the Navy, for example, I got married, first missus, and had a 3-day honeymoon, and I think I saw her 6 months later, you know, and even, you know, when I first went on the Iron Sturt, I think the first trip was 13 weeks, which is a fair while. Yeah. But, they cope. Alan, I suppose, Astrid coped, did she? Learn to cope? Or
33 years.
30. See, Alan's been at sea longer than me.
I've been at sea longer than them.
There you go. I mean, you know, I'm just a novice.
That's... We all have our tale to tell, mate. We all have our tale.
Yeah. And the best place to tell them is after a stop work meeting in the pub.
Yeah, well, we ain't taking the camera in there.
You should. Yeah.
We haven't got the insurance
to
cover the libel the court that's coming out of it.
Seaman in action.